Neil came from a small island and now he's managing worldwide campaigns that's making $1 million for the funnel owners, the businesses itself. And he's a genius marketer, he's a beast, and he always tell me many new things about marketing. But we never recorded these videos, and I just wanted to hit this record button and record our conversation. That with this purpose, he also shared me his whole journey, the mindset that he uses, and some marketing tactics that I never asked him before. So this next hour will filled with many insights, so you better grab a pen and paper and note out everything that he's saying. I did the same as well. It's nice to have you here. Now it's afternoon, so I can see that you are also full with energy and willpower. How was your day till that point?
Yeah, man, had a good one. Today was a rest day, so no gym, but I'm starting a new routine in terms of like trying to work out a little bit more, gain some weight, some muscle, and eating a little bit differently, a little bit more. It's hard for me because when I'm working, I don't even think about food, but now I want to go down this path, you know. So and then already had some calls, got some stuff wrapped up, writing some copy for some new clients. Prospecting new clients coming my way and seeing if I want to work with them. So I had a full morning already, you know. And then I have a kid, so I've been up since 7. He woke up and then you have to be up when he's up. So already had a walk, went to the grocery to get some food. Like yeah, full day already.
Yeah,
How about you?
and then when we met first time in Bali at the hotel, and you had the whole workout session for us, and it was super hard. Always this memory is so nice for me. How we needed to push our limits day by day in every gym session there. But when it came to the normal life, for me, this fitness thing is a bit hard because for me it's boring a bit. Do you have any kind of uh, super great tricks or something that keep you always in the
Yeah.
best level when it comes to
So
gym?
I mean, yeah, it does get boring, right? Like I work out alone and I'm always traveling, so it's hard to have like a gym partner or someone to spoil all of this. But to me is like it is habit at this point, but to anyone else, like whenever I get in a rut, I usually just start a sport, you know, and like to challenge myself. So anytime I'm like feeling like low motivation, I start a new sport, and then I get motivated because my thing is I thrive on challenge and I need something to challenge me. So I've done so many sports from zero, and then I get to a point where it's good, and then I can just resume to whatever I'm doing, you know. So
Yeah.
especially when there's like community and stuff, you know, like you and Bali when we were there together, you know, and there's like so much communities there. If you want to do paddle, if you want to do tennis, if you want to surf, if you want to do jiu-jitsu, and you can find this anywhere, right? Like not the specific sports, but there are sports all over that has the community, and it can be like whatever you like, whether it's football or something. But just having that in there is quite a bit already, you know. And then you get the added benefit of the community side of it, and it becomes
Mhm.
a game. That's the beauty of sport. It becomes a game. It doesn't feel like a task or workout. You know, you're going there to play.
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest, most underrated hack, you know, because they would say like the knowledge out there is like you need to go to the gym and this, but if you're not motivated, you need to start with something small, and yeah, it works, but this is just seamless because you're going to play basically, you know.
Yeah, yeah, but usually the everybody in the social space goes to the gym and doing these boring tasks. So it's sometimes so hard to do other things if you want to build your muscles and everything.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to the business and personal life relation, how this fitness oriented or biohacking oriented mindset helped you to build your agency?
I mean, so to me, it's like most of my clients that I work with is in the wellness, fitness, health space already, and it's been my passion ever since I was a kid. So to me, it just naturally flows, and I get to learn so much from these guys, my clients, and everyone. You know, like all their programs, their courses, everything that costs like anything from like $300 to 20k for their products and all of this. I get to see what it is and get to learn from all these people. So that kind of like fires me up, and I keep learning all the time, every day, every week from these guys, on how to optimize and everything. And then I've gotten to a point now where okay, you can do the basics: sleep well, eat well, move, have a good social life, drink water, basics, right? And then I got to that
Yeah.
point where I was like, okay, I need to do red light therapy, hyperbaric oxygen chamber, IV nutrition. I need to take this amount of supplements, time my food. This is when I drink this thing and eat this thing, and then you go back down. It's like, okay, I need to sleep well, eat well, move my body, have a social life, drink enough water. So at least you understand the principles, because it can get complicated if you go down that rabbit hole and stuff. But there's a niche and a segment for everyone. There's people who really need that extra edge, like the athletes, entrepreneurs, high performance people. I'm one of those, but the basics works well for me, and especially now, with being a new father and everything, a lot has changed in how much time I can dedicate and stuff. Like when you met me in Bali, I had a different life then. Like I was training in the gym maybe 3 4 hours a day, morning session, go back in the afternoon, hustle in the day, hustle in the night, and that was my life. But now it's a little bit different.
Yeah, but that was the time when Rolly introduced you to me. That was the two things that this guy have this super duper eight packs in his abs and super sports out. So it's an unreal guy. And another thing is that he worked for Mind Valley, and also that's the thing where it came to let me connect you with somebody. Usually that's the story that I start to mention, is that this guy scaled up Mind Valley's subscription model to this guy. And it would be a lie if I tell that you never told it to me, because last time we started talking about that. But as you said me that also your life changed from then to nowadays, and also it have many challenges. Can you highlight some spots from working to Mind Valley that was super hard and you jumped the challenges, and you get into this kind of rabbit hole in the marketing
Yeah.
on there?
So I mean, getting to Mind Valley, I can give you some highlights. Like before I was working oil and gas, and I had an agency, a small agency in the Caribbean. So I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, island population 1.3 million, right? And then I had an agency there. I was doing like running their Facebook campaigns, lead gen, websites, the basics. And this is a long time ago, right? This is like 12 years ago. So this is OG digital marketing, before the fancy stuff now. Um, and it did well, but I was conditioned to think that I need stable job and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
I else I would have jumped fully into just being an entrepreneur. But I had it as a side thing, and it was making good money, almost as much as my salary sometimes. And I worked in oil and gas, so I was paid really well as a young person. I started in corporate world as a teenager, 19, and spent 5 years there. But then I know, I wanted to leave the country, do something else, something bigger. I know I was meant for more. And I started applying for jobs everywhere, tried to get into the US specifically, wanted to live and work in Miami, but I didn't. I got some really good companies there, feedback and everything, but I couldn't get the visa, the sponsorship to work there because of, at the time, was like Trump in power, and he had put a ban on it or something for temporary. So that didn't work out. I came across different jobs and stuff, and I found Mind Valley online, and I saw they were located in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And this like I'd never been to
Mm-hmm.
Asia or anything. I just been like to Canada, Guyana, South America, to US, Miami. So I was like, no idea of Asia. Didn't even know where Malaysia was or where Kuala Lumpur is exactly on the map. But I was like, okay, let me shoot my shot. And then yeah, man, I went through the process. Took me 6 months to get in, and I was supposed to start in a marketing job. That's what I applied for, right? But while I was going through the interview process, 6 months long it took me, but things change in the company really quickly, right? Like any startup, things move fast. So the role was changed and all of this, and then they asked me like coming down later on, like, okay, would I be able to join starting in customer support because they don't have the role available anymore, and then once I'm in the company, they'll figure out afterwards. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna be customer support, even if I have all this experience. I have a marketing agency, all of this. You know, so I came in, started with a really incredibly low salary. You know, so I burned through my savings for the first couple months living in Malaysia because when you become an expat in Malaysia, you pay a very high tax. I think it's like 30% or more. So it's very high. Maybe more. Yeah, I think it's more. And then for that first couple of months to a year was like a struggle because I was just going through my savings, you know, and I'm there in a new place, you know, I moved to Kuala Lumpur and I'm like traveling. I want to go everywhere in Southeast Asia while I'm there. So did that. But the main thing is while I was doing this customer support job, I did a really good job at it. And I really committed myself to, you know, if I'm doing this thing, I'm going to do this thing. So basically, after around 4 to 6 months, uh, a role came up, you know, in the product marketing team. So this is like the superstars team of Mind Valley, where all the marketers who generate the revenue and pay the bills, you know, as they say. And yeah, man, I jumped in, and you do launches, right? Like that's how you start off. So my first launch was a biohacking program with this guy called Ben Greenfield. So he's huge in the biohacking space, one of the top biohackers in the world. And when you do your first launch, you know you get a lot of help from everyone on the team. Everyone is there coaching you and da da da, and you come up, you know, with the content, with the angles, how you're going to sell the product, all of this, and you're leveraging a huge list as well, right? Like Mindvalley has a massive list. So that first launch did 1 million plus, and that to me was like the eye-opening moment where I was like, "Whoa, that is a lot of money in just 1 week of selling something," you know. And from there, like my mind expanded like to a next level because seeing this amount of money roll in was insane. And then I launched a couple other products in the health space. I was managing all the health and fitness products in Mind Valley at that time because that was the thing I was most interested in. And even when I was in Mind Valley, I was like competing in Spartan races and stuff. I even travel to the Philippines, to Singapore to compete. I came third in a race in Singapore in the region. And then I was training like the Mind Valley teams in the morning in the office to go to Spartan races because there was a few of us guys in the office that we did it and got everyone else fired up. You know, they were like tech bros, everyone who don't even work out. You know, we got them to go to the Spartan race, and the whole team we were like pushing this culture, this really fitness culture and everything. You know, it was crazy. I had like a lot of people doing workouts and stuff in the morning. You know, I was there training them in the morning in the office. We had a sick office. It was like one of the top 10 offices in the world. Mind Valley office in Kuala Lumpur. It's a really sick office, right? Like pull up bar and all this kind of stuff. And there was even a gym inside there at one point in time. And yeah, man, like fired up the culture and everything. So beyond just the marketing and everything, we had all of this culture going on, you know. And then so at this point now, Mind Valley was looking at getting investing and all of this, right? So Mind Valley was in a transactional revenue model, meaning that you pay for a course, an online course, or whatever it may be that they're selling, event, um, and then that's it. The revenue is transactional, immediate, right? But to get a higher valuation and investment and stuff, if you have a subscription model, meaning people are paying consistently every month or every year, then your valuation goes up. So, executive team wanted to test out this product, right? And then where we're gonna bundle, like there was like over 30 plus programs at the time. Now it's like 36 plus, right, or 40 plus. But at the time, I was experimenting because there were certain products that we couldn't put in there because it wasn't corporate friendly. Let's say like the tantra and sexual stuff and manifestation and stuff. Like CEO didn't want to include that. So working with him directly on this was really great as well because he's like next level marketer, right? That is Vishen Lakiani, CEO of Mind Valley. And yeah, basically as the marketer in charge of this product, like I was there tweaking the product behind the scenes, like everything you had to be involved in, you know. So I was like putting in, we have like product codes and stuff as to what would be in there. All of these things you had to get your hands on, right? And then did the first launch. The first launch cracked 1 million again. So then we know we were onto something, right? And then from there we tested, iterated, did so many different tests, including pricing tests. Like we brought the pricing down from like 795 to like five something. I think now it was like $500, and then so many tests were happening, like on every single funnel, because there were like 36 plus funnels going on already, right? And all the tests that were taking place there was geared towards making this product sell. So basically, I had the team uh, of product marketers that I worked with, and they had their products they were in charge of, and basically all the tests they were doing was geared towards making this one product sell, right? And now, well, the first year we did 20 million, right? And we got like I think it was around 20K customers, like and 50 warm, 50 cold, like, so that's really good numbers. And then after that I
Mhm.
resigned because COVID came up. I was locked in an apartment in Malaysia, which had one of the strictest lockdowns, and then I was like, that's it, I'm done with this corporate world and I'll figure it out. I just had a couple months saving. I left Malaysia, couldn't get into Europe at the time. I had to like fly to Istanbul, and then from Istanbul to Croatia. Croatia wasn't part of EU, so I flew there and then took a bus from there into like Austria, into all these places,
Mhm.
Slovenia, or something. Can't even remember the countries, but you take this bus all the way to Germany and all these places. And I went to France at that time. My partner at the time was French, and then spent a couple months there. Still couldn't go home because my country didn't even let its own citizens in during COVID. So then ended up in London, staying at my family's place for a couple of months. Flew to Barbados, which is the next island next to my island, the Caribbean. Still couldn't get home, and then I found a loophole, which was like you book a private plane, book a hotel for quarantine, and that's the only way. So it was very expensive. So everything that I had saved up, I blew through it. I burned through that, and then I got back home on zero. But at the time, I had like some consulting gigs and all of this because after Mind Valley, like companies came after me. They were looking to hire and all of this, but I just did consulting because I didn't want another job.
And then just back for a quick, for just a moment, that you said that you hustled a lot with your previous agency. Then you end up in Mind Valley, earning a so low salary. And then how does it feel to one day you get up like, okay, I made $1 million for this company. How your day feels like then, and
Yeah,
what's the atmosphere in your head
man.
when this kind
The
of
atmosphere
event
is
happens?
everywhere because then you become the guy who made a million on your launch. So when you go to the company, it's like, boom. And then you go on stage, you present that week, and then there's a bell that you ring on stage. If you crack the million, you get to ring the bell. So I go there, boom, I ring that bell. It's like, it's amazing. And then the main thing is the mental shift. It's like, wow, this type of money is possible in this amount of days. Like, and then after enough time, it's like, shit, I'm making a lot of money for a company. How do I do this for myself? I think that's a shift that everyone has after enough time. Because then you kind of become desensitized. It just becomes numbers on the screen because now I see numbers on a day-to-day basis, and then it's like, okay, this company is doing like a million, 2 million. They're small, you know. But if I see, okay, company doing 100 million, or want to get to 100 million, maybe doing 50 million, like an existing client that we have, and want to get to 100, I'm like, okay, now we're talking. Like they're up there. But I
Yeah.
mean, if I went back maybe 10 years ago and told myself I would be working at this level, I'd be like, how is it even possible? Like I couldn't
Yeah.
even comprehend that amount of money. But yeah, it's crazy now.
So then at that time you create the whole new level for yourself for the future. Because I have this theory in my head, and it's always proving back, like in the same situations that you said. So if I hit one target in my head, like for example, it was so hard to hit our first K in our agency, then the first 10K, then the first 20K, then the first 30K, and when it happens after that, it's became the normal, the things that you are usually doing, or working with these big companies, or making that amount of money. And then it doesn't matter that how many cash do you have in your balance or anything, because then you can wake up next morning and you can recreate it so fastly, because you already know how to do it, and what to do. That was the same with you when you spent all your money to get back to home. So you had that confidence to, okay, I can zero myself because it will be so easy for me.
So you want to know something crazy? When I got back home, I was $0, right? Zero in my bank account, literally. And then I was like, okay, let's figure this out. I had two objectives while I was home. Three objectives. One, wait out COVID and then leave. I didn't know where exactly, but I know I was going to leave, right? Took me 1 year or so to leave. Two, I wanted to write a book. That was like one of the main reasons when I quit Mind Valley. One of the things I wanted to do, right? So I do have this book, and I wrote this book in 127 days, right? And this book sold copies all over the world. It's not a massive bestseller or anything, but I still managed to sell quite a decent amount of copy. It makes like $1 every month on Amazon, so good passive income. But this is just something I wanted to do for myself. It's called Get Your Shit Together, the Life Guide for Young Adults. So this is a book I would go back 10 years ago, give to myself. And I just wanted to get that done. But at the same time, third objective, the main one, was I wanted to build a house for my family. And from $0 everything, I started. Somehow I started. I knew I wanted to get this thing done, and I got it done. And in 300 days, I built a house. I knew nothing about really building a house, construction, all this kind of stuff. And somehow I assembled the right people. I got it paid in cash, like zero debt, nothing, man, I hustled to get this thing done because I just needed to get it done. I didn't even think like, oh, how and all of this. I just like, okay, pedal to the metal, and get it done. And then, yeah, within that space, I mean, it was one of the most stressful times in my life at the same time, getting this done. But I hustled at night. I got so many gigs and freelancing and consulting and this and this. Anywhere I can get anything that adds to the bucket, basically, I just did that. And then I was working construction in the day because I'm building as well with these guys, like if you've been around construction workers, you'll know like how they actually operate and stuff. They don't really care. They're just there to pass the time, and they get their salary at the end of the week. So a lot of the times, I would find them slacking off and stuff. So that had to get me involved in it. And then I was there every single day with them, building alongside, learning a lot as well. And it was like a fun project because even though it was like hard physically and I had to work in the night and everything, it was like at the same time, internally, it felt really good to see something coming off the ground and I'm building, because I built a lot online, but when you see something physical, it's next level, And then, yeah, having my family move in at the end there was amazing, and like literally the day after we moved in, I flew out. I went to Europe for an event, right? It was actually a Mind Valley event to meet up with old friends and stuff. And when I left, leaving in the airport, I didn't have a return ticket, like or just one way ticket to Europe, right? And you need that when you get into Europe, if you're non-European. You need to have an exit ticket, and I didn't have that. I didn't have any money in my bank account as well. So while I'm in the airport now, my flight is about to leave. I can't give them my suitcase until I show this. So I started calling up some friends, and I got onto one friend. It was like, I don't know what time in the night for her, my friend from Brazil, and um, she managed to get it done. And like I was on the phone there 5 minutes. I'm like, yo, they're gonna leave now, and the lady is telling me like, yeah, we have to take your bag now, or else you can't go on the flight. I'm like, wait, give me 1 minute, and I'm showing her the phone like it's coming now, and she booked the ticket for me. I think the ticket was like to Turkey or something. I was like, I'm gonna pay you as soon as I get there somehow. And then got to manage to get on the flight, arrive at the event and everything, and then yeah, just started working, networking, and chatting and seeing who was there and stuff. And then within the next 48 hours, I landed a deal, a really good deal, to consult this company, help them scale all of this, and then sorted everything out. And then from there, I just went to a couple of countries like within a really short space of time, because working with this company, they invited me to Canada, went to their team retreat, played golf, all of this kind of stuff. Then from there, I had to go to New York because I was setting up a company, but I had to collect like documents in New York because I was the closest place to Canada at the time. And then from there, I was like, man, it was like a crazy journey because I was deciding if to go to South America or if to go to back to Asia, right, where I was living before. And then that night, I just booked a ticket. I messaged a friend who was in Colombia, and I was like, "Yeah, where you at? I may come there tomorrow." And then my other friend was in Lisbon, so I ended up just going to Lisbon that night. And then from there, I made my way back to Bali. And then the rest is history. When I get to Bali, it was like okay, how do I convert this event and everything, uh, this setup that I have now with freelancing and all of this, how do I scale that? And the answer was agency, and then yeah, when I got to Bali, it was just pure hustle, like for more than a year, just building up this agency from the ground, no funding, nothing, and then now it's less than 2 years, and I think we've done like over 600K in revenue, and had like a team of like up to like 10 people, not everyone full time, but like people distributed, contractors, like even more actually, around the world, and then working like really sizable clients. And then yeah, man, let's continuing on this path now, it's been a crazy, crazy, crazy ride to get here.
Yeah, and then you said it now and in the past as well that you didn't do any kind of DM reach outs or cold email marketing or advertising yourself, but you ever asked for recommendations, or you just golfed with the right people, or your work was so well so nobody can walk through your offer,
Yeah.
or how does it formed up?
Yeah, so for me, it's always been referrals, even now. I literally just signed a new client and they already want me to work on one of their other companies, and man, my game in agency, why I stay on top, why I'm doing well, is I think I'm doing well. And for me, I'm happy with the progress. Is that I focus on delivering results, and getting results to the client. Like they see the investment coming back to them. I want to see them 10xing whatever they're paying me, or 100xing whatever it is, and that to me is the most important thing. I'm not in the space of like, SMMA and all these. Like, I'm not knocking these guys, but a lot of them, they're so focused on lead gen, getting new clients, and then a client will stay with them for 1 month, 2 months, and then churn, and they're always having to get new clients. Me, I want to work and partner. Like the companies that I work with, clients that I work with, is considered partnerships. And then I work with them long term. They stay for a very long time. Because I keep adding value, and they're happy to have me on, like, however long. Like,
So
there's no end to it.
if you just getting referrals, then you can control your growth or your company's growth, or you just can focus on like, okay, let's do the most awesome shit that I can do, and then the growth will follows it, and it's for you. It doesn't matter that it will be 600K or 800K, but it's big money and big money, but you more focused on to deliver great results or working on the stuff you are like,
Yeah.
or you also have your kind of income goal and you also focus on that as well?
Yeah. So because I've been in it as an agency for less than 2 years, my goal has always been the logos, as in logos and case studies, and getting those, because then I can message anyone after that, in this space, and say I work with this guy and this guy and this guy, and then they're like, okay, you are the guy that work with these guys, so you are the guy I need to go to or work with, right? So I focus on that more than anything. Once you have those case studies, have those numbers, have those logos, after it takes care of itself, because then you're not a nobody coming out and pitching and trying to sell and everything. So the revenue, yeah, I mean, it was suffering, like for the first year plus, because I paid really good salaries. I make a lot of mistakes as well in terms of like hiring, operations, all of this, focus on the wrong things, didn't focus on the business, and I focus on, as I say, working on the business. You should be working on the business, not in the business. But I was doing the opposite. But it was just part of the grind, kicking it off and making sure we were building a proper brand and name for ourselves, with Multiplier. So made a shit ton of mistakes, but the main thing is, I did the sacrifices. I paid good salaries. I got the best, smartest people that I know to work with me and deliver value for our clients as well. And I've been involved in every single thing as well. And at the same time, managed to sacrifice. Like revenue wise, I was making sometimes lower than the least paid employee at the company, and that was fine for me because I know it would pay off. And then my profitability may not be the best in everything. Like, yeah, we made 600K, but how much of that did I really see? Like, maybe not a lot, but to me that is okay, because that's just foundations, like now going forward is just going to be cream on top, because I know all the mistakes, I know what I did wrong, and I have so much now that I can just leverage, all the processes and templates and everything internally, that is really powerful stuff that is worth more than anything, because it's almost 2 years, and then plus my career is 12 years long, so I draw so much from there, and now I can just whip things up in a speed that I don't think anyone else can do it. Like we can for our type of agency, which is focused on revenue growth for companies. So yeah, it, to me it was a necessity uh, to put in this. It could have been more streamlined and everything, but it is that way, and I just accept it, and now I can just optimize, right?
And as you said, that you can be the best on that thing, and nobody can beat you on that. Then, do you have any kind of these secrets that you never show to anyone, or you have some indicators in your process that guarantee that you will be the one who can multiply their revenue, or how this process looks like? If you show me that, or can you talk about that?
Okay, here's how marketers work, right? Any marketer at any point in time working on any project, at that moment, they're using their best guess based on their experience, based on the numbers out there, based on what is working in the industries, all of this. So, this is it. So, if I look at something, I I just know, okay, I can do this thing, because one of the okay, I'll tell you one of the leading indicators for me. I've been in this for a long time, so I have an eye. I can spot things, right? And whenever I know, I need to know one thing. I need to know how much money they're making, and what is their main source of customer acquisition, right? So let's say two. So if I know this is the number one channel that they're getting customers, let's say ads, and this is how much revenue they do per year, then I pair that with one thing: how many mistakes I can spot in their funnel, in their system, in all of this. And then when I see like they have so many mistakes and they're making this amount of money, I'm like, shit, I just need to tweak this and this and this and this, and then boom, money multiplies, right? So I guess mentally that's how the process works for me. There's no internal process or documentation or Notion system or Airtable system, nothing like that. Because even senior marketers who I've worked with still weren't able to spot these things. So I think you just somehow develop it over time. And then to me, it's like I get to work with so many people that build companies. I'm the marketer, but they're the entrepreneurs who build this thing from zero and all that. So I get to learn so much day in, day out, week in, week out from guys that are you know really doing big numbers out there. So I just get to absorb that, and then this is just my model for assessing, and then yeah, from there, like once you start executing, of course numbers are gonna go up, because then it's just principles. It's just the things that I know and I have worked on, I just applied to it, and then seeing the numbers go up. Yeah, so I haven't honestly even thought about it. I just know it happens. I just need to look. But now that you question me on it, I get to understand, okay, that's how it works for me.
Yeah, it's a so high level of expertise when you do something, but you don't know how to do it. Just you feel it, and it's always getting to the ending point. But then, if you know that and have everything in your head, in my case, I needed to documenting everything, or force myself to documentate my branding process. So if I hire somebody, I can give them all the processes that I know, or this every kind of let's go to right or let's go to left
Mm.
in any decision points that I used. For you, how this works: if you hire somebody, you hire the little Neil who's in the same journey and have the same thoughts, and you hire a mindset, or you hire somebody who's okay for hustle a lot and learn from you, and then you teach them everything that's in your head. Like, how do you think,
Yeah.
or how this hiring works?
So Previously, my hires were senior. They were already marketers that what I say can bang. I can throw them in any situation and they know what to do already, right? But these
Yes.
cost a lot, and uh, you know things change. Now I'm in a process of hiring new people again, and uh, now I'm really hiring for the hunger and stuff because okay, how I wanted to build my company from the start and how I want to build it now has changed, right? Like initially I wanted to have this you know more relaxed culture. Everyone is remote working. I had VAs for everyone on the team that they can access for any manual task so they can focus on high level, all of this. And I paid really, really good salaries, right? But at my expense at the same time and at the company's expense because in this business, things can happen. Sometimes shit happens you don't know who you're working with sometimes because sometimes it can just be a referral and then things can go south if clients don't want to pay and they just disappear. Like shit like this does happen, right? And to deal with that can be painful. So you need to know how to navigate these things as well. But now I'm in the process of really building a team that is hungry. So I'm hiring now for that hunger. I need to see it. Not the. I mean, everyone wants to work remotely and have a chill life and all of this. But if you want to work with me, like you have to be in it to hustle. And I make it clear now from the beginning because it has gotten us to a point where we could have done much more. Much more revenue, much more growth, be in a much better place. But it's lessons, and then now I'm in that phase of okay, I'm gonna get these people who are hungry, who love marketing, want to see things grow. That's the main thing, and then they're gonna learn from me directly. So these people are gonna be learning and be mentored somehow directly from me. So it's me teaching them along the way, teaching them how to think more than anything. I don't want someone who is just there to follow instructions. I want someone who people who can uh, think for themselves, question my decisions even, and see things that I may not be able to see as well. So they're going to be learning how to become really, really world class marketers in my team. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a nice point to build a team where everybody's in this growth mindset. For my guys, I also looking the same. Like when we started, I started from that point. Like, okay, let's hire people who's hungry and want to work. But I didn't have the systems and I didn't have the references that I could teach them. But if I would go back and ask the little Milan that, okay, man, don't do it for yourself and don't do a freelancing, but search for somebody who you want to be and learn from them and work from them. It could be a so big gift as an employee or somebody who's just starting out. If you are hungry and can go to somebody and then, for example, if I could go to you as a starter and learn everything that you needed 2 or 3 or 4 more years to figuring out, and I just can ask it and you answer it and I don't need to struggle around, it would be something that is so fasting me up
Yeah.
one place.
Exactly, and that's the thing. If you're a young person looking to start and get really good, to get to work with people at a high level, then that's the ultimate hack to get there. It's the ultimate shortcut, as they say. Like for me, when I was working in my valley, I worked directly with the CEO, and super high level. It's like when this guy speaks, I was always like, wow. Like I I I couldn't see the things that he saw, but then it kind of trains you to think like, okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay, and you get it after enough time. Like even when I had just quit, I had a mentor at the time, and he was figuring out like what he wanted to build as a company and stuff, and then so happened that it was an agency model. So I was like the first person there helping him build this out, the processes, everything, and I spent 1 year with him as a mentor mentee under a little stipend kind of thing because I know I could make much more money, but I just wanted to learn and absorb as much as I can from him for 1 year, and that
Mhm.
was the agreement, and yeah, it's like it's the ultimate hack to actually learn and grow really quickly.
Yeah, and can we just jump back a little bit, because if I would be the one who's listening that conversation, I would be so angry to me that I didn't ask you like how I was working with Jay and what's
Vishen,
the
Vishen,
biggest takeaway. Yeah.
Vishen Lakiani. How was working with him? um, so if you go online, there's a lot of mixed reviews, right? And at the time, I used to get really angry at him and in all of this, right? Like being completely transparent because he's intense and he can be very intense, but he always looks out for everyone. That's the main thing, right? Now, you can say, he's an asshole or whatever. He's intense, all of this. But the reality is, now that I'm an entrepreneur and more full time, like before I had agency, all of this, but it wasn't. It was still a part time gig, but now it's different, right? I think all entrepreneurs are somewhat assholes, you know. Like I had my moments with my team and stuff where I was in this intense period and might not have been the kindest and stuff to them, and I had to apologize and all this. Like we have our moments, you know, and I think that's just the nature of entrepreneurship. Because when you're an employee, you know your salary is guaranteed and it's comfortable, and it comes at the end of the month. You don't have to take on any risk or anything. But as an entrepreneur out there, like no one really knows what you face, and you would know this firsthand, right? Like it can be a grind. It can be very difficult. It can be one of the most mentally and emotionally stressful things you experience out there. So I I have that lens that I can just look at him now and be like, yeah, I completely get it. You know why he was so intense and all of this. But the main thing is like. Uh, I try not to focus on that side of things. It's like how much value I got there is insane. Like I can't even pay for that, you know. So nothing beats that.
Mm-hmm. So then, can you just highlight the biggest value that you got from the whole Mind Valley journey?
Biggest value is my network because Mind Valley is a very distributed company culture. We have like at the time I was there was like 56 plus nationalities, and it's not a huge company, right? It was like 300 plus at the time. Don't know how much it is now, but and you get to know everyone, like and build connections, build friendships, and like lifelong friendships. You know, I have my friends, and my best friends are there, and they're all over the world, and we keep in contact, and it's amazing because I just have this network. Anywhere I go, somehow someone knows someone, even if they're not there. Like it's really amazing. So that's the most powerful thing I got out of there. Just the people, like the most amazing people you will meet ever. Like really into growth. And everyone who is left actually has done really well. You know, people become authors, entrepreneurs, etc. Like they all go out there and do big things. You know, because when you're in that environment, it's hard to do something small and go back to I don't know not that anything is wrong with it, but any little job and like yeah, because once your mind is expanded, that's it. Like you
Mm-hmm.
see how much potential there is.
And now, what is your networking tactic? As you said multiple times, that you get all of your work, all of your knowledge, all of your opportunities from your network. You use the Mind Valley network, and you from there you expand it everywhere.
Yeah,
Or nowadays, how is your network growing?
man. The thing is, I focus. Okay, so there there's different ways to view entrepreneurship, right? Like you can probably view it through the lens of how do I get value, and then to me the more powerful one is how do I give value. And I always focus on the latter, which is how do I give value always. And then somehow, I don't know if it's karma, the universe, God, whatever it is, it's like I always try to add value, even if they're not my client or someone just introed me and be like, hey, I know this guy Neil who does marketing, and I just give value. Like I don't even think about it. I sing when I see something that can be improved. I sing. I tell them everything, all the tactics, everything they can do, and somehow just by doing that, ripple effect. Like in the biohacking space, for example, I started off got an intro to one of the guys, big guys there, who has one of the biggest events in the world, the Health Optimization Summit, and from there he introed me to another guy, and that guy became my friend and invited me to Munich, and we went to the Alps, and I helped him sell an event with 700 attendees, and I spoke on stage because of this. And then he introduced me to another guy. Then this guy, I did a launch, made like, I don't know, 200K in like just a couple months for a launch with him. And then this guy introduced me to another guy, and then this guy, has like a $2 million company and wants to scale. And then he introduced me to another guy who has like another man. So I just give value, and they just send people my way, and then yeah, man, it's crazy how it works. And of course, within my network and stuff, like, people would recommend me, and like I do the same. Like anyone that I know that needs help or can help, I send wherever I can connect, because I don't know who created the concept. Everyone has claim to something, but I don't know if someone specifically created it. But it's like the value, maybe Naval or something, I don't know. The value of a network, like it only increases as more people are added, right? So the thing is
Yeah.
that you won't lose by um, adding someone to the network, basically, because then you get to tap into a whole web of people there, and somehow you're all connected. So you lose more by not connecting people, is the way I see it.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, I was like, no, this is my contact. I'm not gonna, intro and da because I had more ego then. But now I'm like, the fuck? There's enough money and there's trillions of dollars in the world. I can't even comprehend how much money is that. Like, who am I to think that I can have an influence on anything that, like I must get everything and block anywhere. Like, to me, it's
Yeah.
like money needs to be flowing around, and that's how it is. And somehow it rains on me, by doing this
Yeah.
as well. So yeah, man, like anyone that I think, oh, I see a connection, I just do it. Like just last week I was in Kiev. I went downtown to Kiev and met with this guy who I was on someone's podcast, and he told me, yeah, I know a guy in Kiev. I was like, okay, that's so random because he know there's a war here. He was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. He runs a podcast as well, and he's part of a business network. And then I went, met him up for coffee, he invited me to this event that is coming up in September, and the ministers and the top businessmen and everyone who wants to invest here and stuff, because they're already looking at post-war, what's going to happen with the economy and everything. And that's super interesting for me, right? Because now I have a vested interest here. My partner is Ukrainian, my kid is Ukrainian. So now I have an interest here in what will happen. And so somehow I already got to the top of the chain where, the ministers, the businessmen, everyone is going to be there, and they're going to be going into these things, which is super relevant. So yeah, it just flows like that, and then while I was there, I connected him just on the spot. What I do is I always connect people. I create a WhatsApp group and then shoot a video. Hey, X meet Y. He does this, you do this, and I think you guys should talk. And then that's it. I just leave it, let them take care of it. I exit the group and then let them figure it out. If they want to meet, they meet. If they're not, that's it. But right then and then, he works in this segment for Ukraine specifically, or Eastern Europe, but now he's drilled into Ukraine. And then I connected him to someone in Dubai who helps businesses land and expand basically in the UAE region, MENA region, and got the connects there to governments and big businesses and
Hmm.
everything. So now both of them get to have a chat. I think they booked a chat this week, but I don't even know because that's going to take care of itself. But yeah, anytime I see the opportunity, I do it because it's just value increase, and it's part of my network still, and it's just boom, getting bigger and bigger. So
Yeah.
then, anytime something comes up in my area, I know I'm going to be mentioned.
Yeah, and as you think about it's your network and you can add all the value in your network and you connect these people to each other, and if they can make more money to each other, then the whole money itself in your network is can grow, and also the same with the knowledge and the connections and everything. Usually when I meet with friends and I'm like the same as you, like I always connect people to each other and I just feel it like, okay, these two just needs to talk. And then usually that happens when we go somewhere hanging out or just talking with these people, and then they realize that, oh, you connected me with these two guys, and then they come up with the stories like how they were together at that point, or they just forgot it and then they refollow each other, and it's grows, and it's a so nice thing that how this can happen and how everything can flow around you. And yeah, it's
I
also
mean, even us,
strengthening.
right? We had mutual connection, which was Roland, and then Roland introed us, and then we went on this hashing expedition in
Yeah.
Bali for that day. You know, we got to chat a little bit. We had dinner, and then now you know you're in Hungary, and I'm here in Ukraine, and we're having this chat, and we've been in a connection since then. So it's almost a year now, you know, and then we've been in touch. We had a few calls, you know, like along the way. So
Yeah,
and
and it's so strange that as Roland introduced us to each other, that was a day like we knew each other with Roland 2 days ago since we the time when we met, because it was also like just I put out a story in Canggu, and one of my colleague or contractor who's worked for us just shoot me a reply for my story that, oh, I know Roland, I just following him, but he's in an exact same city as you.
mm,
And then as I wrote to Roland, like, oh, I see you are here as well, and you are Hungarian, and we should know each other, let's hop on something. And then his reply was like, tomorrow afternoon. Then he linked the bar for me, and then let's talk there and watch the surfers. And from that's the speed as Roland working. And for me that was so super cool. Like when I were there in Bali for just 1 month, everything was just leveled up in the speed. It was like 10x the speed of everything, because as we met and you invited me to that mastermind that Jordan organized, that was also just so fascinating. Like, bro, I'm in a different island right now, but I will be there by tomorrow. And then after it also evolved. So
bigger network even there, right? Like I remember when I told you, I was like, bro, you should make the effort to come here. We're getting to stay in a 5-star resort for like $200 with meal included, everything. Come here because you get to meet awesome people, and so said, so done,
yeah.
right? Like some amazing people was there. Yeah.
Yeah, and since then also many things happened, and I hope that we will meet again there, or if not there, but somewhere in the world. I think that we will cross each other's road within a year
Yeah, hundred
again.
percent, 100%.
Yeah, something great.
Man, so I think we went into quite a lot, you know, on my side of things. I want to know a little bit more about your side of things, like how you got started with this design side of things, you know, with branding and all of this. Like, did you study this in college and stuff? And like, what was your like journey into this?
My journey have different angles. Last time when I hit a mentoring session with my coach, it was for me a so eye-opening moment, uh, because we went back to my childhood when I were just 3 years old, with my grandma in the summer, because my parents were entrepreneurs. And in my grandma, I can't sit on my ass, because my grandma was during the last century in Hungary. It was, I don't know the name in English, but everything was under the government,
Mm.
and she worked for a big clothing factory, managed hundreds of people. And when
So
she
like
went to
communism kind of thing, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. So as she ended the work in the clothing factory, she can't stop there
Mm.
like a normal old lady and just chilling out. And because I were with her all the time during the summer, I always wanted to do the same like she. And I always were in the garden to do something creative, or we needed to always do something instead of just playing with my cars, for example, like the other kids. So from there it started to moving my creative brain, and as I grew more and more and more, I headed to my parents printing factory, and I wanted the trash stickers or something like that to use it for my kind of graffiti career. And from that graffiti guy, I transformed into a self-taught graphic designer and attended to the university. But meanwhile, that because many people came to the factory, and They wanted just a name card, just a small roll up or something, like it's design oriented stuff. And because I worked on that and I had it to the university, I was like, bro, I already an entrepreneur. I have some clients there. I started to work for this client, but this was just like, yeah, so small works. The first ones I did for just a beer or a chocolate. So I started from that bottom, and I started to go up in this ladder parallelly the university. And when I didn't have more time for my clients, I started to invite my classmates, the best studying classmates from the university, to work for me or work with me. And then we started growing, and accidentally I had it, for example, to beer pong challenge, where I met with a DJ guy who wanted a logo. Then after we completed it, he started working in the company of Red Bull here in Hungary. And then in one night they had an issue to make them something by tomorrow, and I was the one who were available at 8 o'clock in the evening, that who's ready to work on something. And then we had it to work with them more and more and more, and then we ended up to working with Red Bull, for example. So that was the beginning of my career, and also the same as you, to just work my ass off, make some cool designs, and then the new design will be able to show it to everybody, like I worked on that and that and that, and this case study saw the next works.
And how long have you had the agency already?
I can't tell the exact time, because for me, it's not this straight lines,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
I went to the company and made it. But a few years ago, where I say that I started this agency. Before that, it was like Milan is a freelancer and have some friends who's helped to him. So it's like 2 or 3 years ago when I say that, okay, I have a company
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm as a CEO and developing our systems. Because yeah, it started like I didn't had a past experience from a big agency to how I need to work on that, or how a project management software
Yeah.
works, or how you can do anything. It was just like, okay, I know the design stuff, and in the first place it was like for example, we worked for a law firm, and I said that, guys, we don't have a contract, we just can make you a good logo, so you need to trust us. And that's all that I can do, because I'm not good enough in the contract. So they gave us a contract template that I could use,
Wow.
uh, exchange for a logo. So I needed to work on everything from zero, and that's the great part of that too. If you work for a company and you don't just build your own, we already worked for 300 companies, and I seen nearly everybody's systems, colleagues, processes, and everything. And that's the knowledge that you can't just go inside and buy it, because you need to work your way there, and you need to understand why they doing that, and then you can help them. And that's the big value that I see in our agency.
Yeah, yeah. And then, so your primary market has been the Hungarian market, right?
Yes.
But now, last time we chatted, you indicated that you were expanding out, going more international. So how's that journey? Like, what are the steps you're taking to get that going?
Yeah, for me, I also looked around, like how we could make cold emailing or DM setting or any kind of this advertisement tactics, that I could go somewhere and hit somebody's eyes with that, because I wanted to fasten it up. But the real thing, it's work the same as here in Hungary. So when we met in Bali, that was nearly the time when I think that, okay, I already start getting other people all around the world who's following my content, so I should switch my language to English from Hungarian. So I started making content in English and just posting out my work. and that's the thing that can work to let me put out my expertise, and I need to be more loud in the social space and put my knowledge out there, like I talking with you in the same should be in a YouTube video where I explain something. And if somebody can reach this content, then they could be a potential client. And also we have Hungary related clients who's living abroad somewhere, and they ordering from us, but also from content or DM setting or just from networking. We already had clients from Canada, US, UK, Ukraine, Australia, Germany, French, Spain. So it's just small steps, but every clients that we have from a different country is a whole new opportunity for us to growing through them. And also I have one client there who's already fulfilled and happy with the product that we delivered from them, and every day I see in them as a new opportunity that somebody can walk in their shop or use their application or anything where they can ask that, okay, who did that for you?
Mm-hmm.
So for me it's like just as you to make the best as possible, and then it will reach the world as well.
Yeah, and I'm curious because okay, for me, okay, there's branding, there's marketing, right? And they work hand in hand.
Yeah.
They both need each other. But I focus solely on the marketing side of things, right? And with marketing, they want to see results quickly, right? Like money in, money out, and within a couple months,
Yeah.
I invested this amount. How much am I getting back? How do you and that is part of my pitch as well to my clients, potential clients. So I'm curious, from a branding side, how do you actually go about with your pitch, and what is the angle that you take to actually do
Mhm.
acquisition?
Yeah, you can sell it different ways. One way is if you sell it as an insurance, because usually the companies who want the branding or take branding seriously and think about like, okay, I have a website that converts quite well, but I only use stock images and stock illustrations and just somebody put that together, but it's not related to any other funnels that we have or the product or anything. Then if the whole brand looks the same and everything is providing the same values, the same feelings through the website and through the other touch points, it can be an insurance to them that every dollar that you as a marketer spend, the customer will relate with that. Another thing that we can do is we don't sell it as a solution, but as a dream. And usually they see the opportunity that what they could do if they would have a better brand with better touch points. But it's usually in the clients, it's not like, oh, I want a new brand or want a new feeling. They not that sophisticated. Usually they have a pain point that is on their way. Like for example, we had a client who wanted design templates because they seen that from the time tracking, their marketing team leader using 4 hours every week from her time for just do some banners.
Mm,
And if you see that, okay, I have a gem in my marketing team who's the leader, she should be the one who managing the whole team, make the biggest decisions, and I want her time allocated on that instead of designing banners and choosing the right blue color. And if you go there with a selling perspective and you can calculate that it's 200 hours a year from your marketing expert that the company could spend somewhere else, that could be an investment in one part, and in another part somebody will make your banners who's a designer and know the color psychology, know the exact sizes that they need to use, and also can think on that in a different way.
yeah.
That will be a point as well. But many companies came to us with tens or 20 years of history, and they just realized that, okay, we draw a logo that time. And now if we go for a conference or if I make a presentation for a big audience or something like that, the design needs to help providing your message or give the right tone for your message. And you can't stay on a stage with your multiple million dollars company and talk about something with a white background PDF that is like made out in Word or something like that. Looks like you just made it a day before in the night. As a CEO, you should step there so confidently with a well thought out thing that represents your company, that will be also connected with the quality of your service.
Yeah.
And that can be a level, and above that level it's an important thing for them.
Got it, got it. Okay, that I never even thought about this as a value add, and that level you go to, but I think that that's really cool. Because to me it was like, okay, just the facing side, but this goes much deeper internally into the operations, and then I think this is a huge value add because then they see, okay, this would save me X amount of money and this amount
Yeah.
of time, free up my staff and everything. So super powerful. So
Yeah.
now. Where do you intend to take your agency? Like, I'm curious because now that you're getting into the waters of the international clients and everything, like, what is your north star? For your agency.
Mm-hmm. For us, the next steps, I like to take these steps step by step and not jumping to the highest level that I can. So for us, now our perfect clients are where they have the marketing manager or somebody in house who take care of everything and can work with us to manage and make a whole year marketing plan. And then we can plan that, okay, we will have a conference there, then we need to send out the corporate gifts to our partners, then we need to do that and that and that. And when we collect this amount of tasks for the next year, then we can execute this thing during the year. So now we are looking for this kind of partnerships. And I'm on a level where I would like to fulfill myself as well, because I think that this hustle culture as a young entrepreneur is so great to uh, uh, go everywhere and work on everything that you could to get money in, so you can work on the stuff that you want to. But now we want to connect with these companies and feel their values and feel their messages and bring the right people to the highest places in the market. So now that's my goal with the company. But I not like to make it so exact, because I more like it in flow, and then I trust on the universe that the right people will came to our door because they will want exact the same thing that we can provide to them and for the market as well.
Yeah, makes sense. That's cool, man. Uh, like you said, it's step by step and not trying to jump into it immediately. And that is something I try to do at the same time, because I can always think like, oh, why am I not doing 100K a month or a million? And, but to me, it's like, man, step by step it's going to happen, because sometimes you just need to zoom out as an entrepreneur as well and look at the progress you've made and where you're at and everything, and that's what I do from time to time. Like if I go back 1 year from now, 1 year from now, or 2 years, or 3 years, or 5 years, I'm gonna be telling myself what I'm doing now. I'd be like, wow, that's really great, And then the thing about it as well is when you see numbers, you become blind to it after some time, and then you just want to see numbers going up, right? That's just natural. But it kind of takes away your work and where you've actually made progress and how much progress you've made as well. So how do you manage
Yeah.
that?
Kind of the same, because I I like to feel how my company grows, and I so love in the process as how I can level up myself as a CEO and how I can build my company. But in the other hand, it's so joyful to go into a company and hold that workshop or make them a new presentation or a new design, and I can see the shining stars in their eyes of how it works. But if my notebook is not here, but in my bullet journal, the first page, I wrote the sentence that as a CEO, my work is to build the best team around me who can run my company better than me.
Mm.
And I think that could help me to focus on the right thing, because if I focus on that, like, okay, I need to make the 100K, the 1 million, the next thing in the month, then I will focus on the wrong thing and I just focus on the sales. Instead of I focus on, okay, now I focus on, let's do the sales, but also meanwhile I need to develop the sales processes and I need to look forward for somebody who can do the sales for me. So later on, after a year, it could be like I'm hustling again to hit the 200, the 300 in a month. But it's much more smarter to develop everything, so I will be able to scale it up and do the groundwork as well.
Got it, got it. Yeah, I mean, I think top level, like you're spot on there, you know, in the approach and everything. And I myself probably didn't have that alignment as to what I was building and everything, in terms of building the right team and all of this. But now I've matured, let's say, because I've had to learn the hard way over the past couple years on this one. But yeah, super powerful. Now, um, little outside question. This may be more personal as an entrepreneur,
Okay.
as a businessman, as someone who is making money as an entrepreneur. Like, what's your approach to handling your cash now? Like, do you immediately inject it back into the agency, or do you diversify? Like, what is your strategy?
My strategy for myself to how to grow, or
Yeah. Like, what is? How do you basically invest the profits and stuff that you make from the agency?
okay,
Does it go back into the
yeah,
agency, or do you diversify?
it's diversified. Now we are in a process to buy a company with one of my friend who's what is related to our company, and also in that company that we planning to buy have an email list, have really great eyes on it in the internet, and it's related to my agency. So I will be able to use that knowledge that I already have
Mm,
from my agency to have another company where I don't need to hire people for scale up. Just the product is
yeah.
existing and we love the product, and we can use our knowledge to scale that more up as well. But also, yeah, nowadays I put back all my efforts, energy, and profit, nearly the 70%, back to the agency and hire new people, invest on networking and everything that can grow this company. And I'm more like to look for ways like affiliate that is related to my company, but it's also a new business or a new opportunity that I can see. Uh, I just started this affiliate thinking with, let's say, we're working with a printing factory, because in the story that I told you in the beginning, my parents had just a small kind of decorational printing factory, and then they sold it. But now, as we finish a work with any of our clients, usually it came like, okay, you need to print it, or I need that, or this merchandise stuff, or anything like that. And usually it's like, if an agency perspective, you just can think about that, like, okay, it will be 2 hours for my colleague and I can bill it out to you, and that's all. But now we have an affiliate partnership with this company, where I always, when I send them a client, they sign it to us, and then every month ends, we can calculate the amount of money that came from our clients to there. And I don't need to do something big, just using this networking tactic that I can connect one of my clients to one of my partners. altogether. And from us is just a small amount of energy that it needed, and I just needed to prepare everything for them, and it works really well. And this is have that kind of lifetime value where I need to just work with this like a half an hour or 1 hour to set the first email and the introduction, and after that it's a lifetime earning for me. And I try to look for this kind of other opportunities in the future as well.
Interesting. So M&A, mergers and acquisition. I think that's cool. And then you're even increasing your CLTV, right? Like that's one of the main things I focus on as an agency for clients. But you're basically you're solving one problem for them, but there's another problem, as in they need the actual stuff printed, merchandise, etc. But then you basically can upsell, this and increase your CLTV. So that's super smart. And then yeah, you said you 70% you're going back into the business. Like for me it was like almost everything back into the business, for a long time. And yeah, still going down that path because I know I want to build something that is around for a long time and something that can
Yeah.
really build and support my lifestyle and everything, and then have a great company there going. So um, just one final question now. So now that we have more insight into like how you started, all of that, what would you say is your number one secret sauce right now that is working for you for getting new clients in this space particularly?
Hmm. I think for me the one secret sauce that I think about that a lot with SWOT analysis and everything marketing related tactics. But for me the secret is the motivation that I have, because usually when I start talking about it about somebody's vision, like they just give me a company, and I just need to close my eyes and think for 1 minute, and then I can see their vision and how they can go there. And there was this iconic sentence from Steve Jobs that you can only connect the dots backwards in the time. And I'm usually travel to the future in my mind, to the company's vision who I'm talking with, and I connecting the dots behind me when I'm there. And on the time when it's right now and we just talking, I can put them this plan all together, like okay, you could reach this vision by doing that and that and that and that and that. And I'm so motivated and they can feel this energy. And usually that's what they said, that like you are the first agency or the first person who was so motivated for reach our goals. And that's the selling point usually that can bring them in to our company. And I believe that when it's the era of chat gpt and nobody's wants to put the work in it and want these feelings, just everybody's automating. In the other hand, you also need your personal connection with this brand, and they will feel that. And in the end of the day, they will want to work with somebody who's motivating for them and they can connect with. That's the secret, I think.
That's amazing, man. Like, I, to me personally, the thing that sells the most is your energy and enthusiasm. And you started off there with one thing that is important: your own motivation. So nothing beats that. If you're actually enthusiastic, if you know there's potential and you can add value, like that sells for itself. You don't have to think about, oh, how do I get this person or convince them or anything. It does it organically, just all by itself. So I think that's super powerful. Man, we went into so much today. My story, your story, and I think there's a lot of value in here for anyone out there on the entrepreneurial journey in marketing and in design, branding, all of these things. There's so much value in here, and I think we didn't hold anything back, which was the intention, right? So
Yeah.
excited to put this out there, man.
Yeah, for me too, and thank you for your time and energy here. And it was super motivational for me to talk with you again and again and again, because you can find these hidden gems, and get this motivation. So hope that we will continue that later on, and also I will link your socials and everything to the video as well, to anybody can reach you with their dreams and visions and questions.
All right, awesome. Thank you for having me.
Thanks.